Hello friends, in this video let's talk about not null constraint in MySQL. By default, any column in MySQL accept null values. That is the default behavior. So if you do not want to allow null values for any of the columns, then you need to specify as not null. It means that it doesn't allow null values into that particular column. For example, if your table contains 4 columns, then you can add 4 not null constraints to the table. What I mean here is a table can have one or more not null constraints on a single table. There is no restriction on a number of not null constraints on a table. So 4 columns, each and every column 1 has a not null constraint, as not null, column 2 has a not null constraint, and so on like this. So what is the basic purpose of not null constraint is it does not allow nulls into the particular column. It enforces you to keep some value. It can be a duplicate. Let us say your table contains 3 records. 3 values on a particular column can be a duplicate, but it should have some value. And it is one of the important constraints in our daily life. It means that you cannot insert a new record with null value for a specific column if you specify that column as a not null. So let me show you how to create a not null constraints along with a table, and let me show you practically. So I'm going to show you 2 tables, okay, with a general default behavior and one more table with a not null constraint. If you see, the table is student which is having 3 columns: student ID integer, student name varchar of 100, marks integer. So student underscore not null, I keep it just for our understanding. Student underscore not null, student ID, and I need to specify not null. So it means in this case, if you do not specify any not null means, it means by default it's a null. Even you can specify null if you want. There's no problem if by keeping like this. But if you're not specifying anything means default behavior is null. Okay. The next column here is student name, S name, varchar 100. It means that for student name I'm not keeping any not null, and marks integer I'm not keeping any constraint. So if you see in this table, student ID should be there for every record, and student name can be null, marks can be null. I'm just creating an example table for it. But without student name we cannot add a marks actually. But I'm just giving an example, like it's a kind of example scenario only for us. Now let's create this table. Okay, let's create this table. Your table is created. You can see 0 rows affected, and this table also I'll create it. Okay, table is ready now. So now, let's try to insert data into the student table. Okay, so insert into student, and I'm going to specify the column names SID, comma S name, comma positive case. Okay, marks. Okay, in values. Okay, so let's put student ID as 100, comma name as John, comma marks as let's put it as 45. Okay, so this is the first record. Let's insert it, positive case. Yes name, okay, sorry, spelling mistake. Let's put it as it is. Okay, yeah, now let's try to insert. You can see it. See, our engine is very intelligent. Unknown column, SA, spelling wrong. So let's execute it. Now data insert 1 row is affected. Now, so let's try to insert another column for the same. So what I'm trying to do is, now I'm not keeping a marks for this. So I'm inserting only 2 columns actually here. If you see 101 name, John is Kate. Okay, so if you see now, okay, so now let us see this one, insert into students. I am passing only 2 columns and I am passing values to 2 columns only. Yes, it's even a positive case. Okay, done. Now let me put a value to the 1 column only. Okay, so I'm keeping this one column only. I'm just giving you examples for a student table, then I'll go to the not null as well. Let's run this. Yeah, this is also inserted. So now, so let's take one more case. Without passing student ID, I'm passing S name. Okay, S name to Raj. So let's run this. Okay, now let's run the student table. Okay, select star from student. Okay, so now let's run this. If you select and run this, okay, now you got around 4 records. One is positive, all the values. These are all the values. Second one is without marks, still inserted and by default showing as null. And third record as so only ID was there and the name and marks is null. And the fourth record as ID and marks as null. Raj is a value for a student name. Okay, this is a normal case. So without having a null constraint within the table. Okay, so now, so let me go to the student not null table. So table created right here. Let me refresh this. So table created here. Okay, so now let's do the same scenario for this. Okay, so instead of this this one, I'm putting as a student null, not null. Here I'm passing SID, student ID, student name, marks. I'm passing 100. I'm giving it different names, Daniels, and marks as 55. So just for our differentiation purpose. Okay, now if you see this, so I'm inserting, it's a positive case. Let's insert it. One record inserted. You can see at the bottom, but yeah, let me clear this. Okay, one record inserted. Now if you want to see the record, let's come here. I'm just putting here. Let's see this. Yeah, data inserted and one row returned. Now let's slowly come here. Yeah, okay. So now let's go for the student null here. Now let's pass student ID and student name and passing as a 201 now. This case I'm passing as 201 as a and the value as a Kate. Let's try to insert this. Yes, so record inserted. Now let's run the data. So you have 2 records. So first record is all the 3 columns you passed. Second record, ID and name only passed and marks is null. So now, so let's go to the only ID. So let's copy here and come here and pass is 202. Okay, so let's run this. So this is all the positive case only even. So let's run the student null and see 3 records you have. So one with all the 3 columns, second record with 2 columns without marks, third record only ID without a student name and marks. Now let's go for a original case where I have a not null constraint imposed on student name. Now let's try to insert not null constraint imposed on student ID. So but I'm not passing student ID for this record. If you closely observe, I'm passing specially student name. I'm not passing student ID. So the expected behavior should fail. Let's run this. I'm passing student name alone without student ID. If you understand clearly, only one column specified here. Even I'm not passing marks, but marks is, let's pass the marks as well if you want. Let's run this case, then let's pass marks later. Let's run this. Now you can see the error message. I'll show you that. Yes, see, the field SID does not have a default value. So either you need to pass this value or you need to set up some default value. So until that, it won't work because the default value I did not set up. So default is one of the, again, a separate constraint I talked in the previous video. Okay, so let us see for default in a detailed session later. So now since I'm not passing default, okay, so that is the reason why it was failing actually. Okay, so now let's try to pass some value to the name ID as well, then let us see. Okay, so here I am passing 1 2 3 4. Yeah, let's see. Now Raj, some value I am passing to the ID. Okay, even though current sequence is 20 200 201 202 now, but I am passing 1 2 3 4. Okay, Raj. So let's run this. Okay, now you can see one row affected. Now let us see. Now if you see here, for this, so three values I sent. This one 2 values I sent. This one value. At least ID is mandatory now. Here even without ID, I tried inserting Raj, but it did not, because ID has a not null constraint column. Okay, so it is asking for some value. It can be duplicate, it can be junk value, something. Okay, so that's how we need to work with a not null constraints. So not only that's all about not null. So if you have any questions on RDBMS, please drop your question in the comment section. We'll try to answer as soon as possible. That's it. Thank you for watching.